Welcome into Cream v. Crimson. I'm Zain Pyarali. Today we're talking men's soccer as the Indiana Hoosiers earned the number 2 overall seed in the upcoming NCAA Tournament. Joining me today is Eddie Cotton from Big Ten Network Student U, Josh Eastern and Michael Ramirez from the Indiana Daily Student. Now we know Indiana has an amazing defense, guys, only allowing 4 goals all season long. So looking ahead to the tournament, is there more pressure on the defense to keep playing this well or the offense to keep scoring more?
I think it's blatantly obvious it has to be the offense. You look at their last few games, it's always been that the defense has been stout consistently, and there have been a few issues with can Indiana break through offensively, and that's what you're going to be looking at moving forward in the tournament. Can Indiana find a goal when they need it?
I mean, defense wins championships, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be the defense. It's carried them this far, and I think the offense has really come along this entire season. Mason Toye, leading goal scorer for the team with 9, is just a freshman. But this defense, led by Grant Lillard, the All-American senior back there, he's been a rock alongside Timmy Mel. And this defense has been fantastic all year, obviously with their shutout streak. But, I mean, it's the time of year where it's going to be cold, it's going to be tough to score. The defense has to step up.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Josh. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with Eddie here. Also, I'm gonna say it's on the offense. If they would have scored a goal, they would have won against Wisconsin. It's plain and simple. They obviously ended up losing on penalty kicks, but I mean, if you get a goal in there, Mason Toye hasn't scored in 4 games. He's on a 4-game goal scoring drought. And you mentioned Josh, he's the leading goal scorer. He needs to step up as well. I think all the pressure's on the offense right now. The defense has been stout for the whole season. It's time for the offense to produce. It's postseason time.
So for each of you, start with you, Michael. Who's one player that you think will break out for IU this NCAA tournament that really needs to be the key guy for this team throughout the tournament?
Well, I think who needs to break out is Mason Toye. Like I already said, he hasn't scored in 4 games. He last scored the game winner against Wisconsin in extra time. And, you know, obviously he's the leading goal scorer. He's one of the main contributors of scoring goals this season. So, I mean, he's been really vital down the stretch, especially in the middle of the season when he got red hot. You know, he's had a couple of braces as the season's gone along. He's stepped up in a lot of big games, and it's time for him to step up in the postseason as well. We haven't really seen him contribute too much to the team recently, so I think that he really needs to step up as far as postseason goes. Josh?
Andrew Gutman's got to be the guy. I mean, he scored against Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament. It was kind of a weird goal from outside the box, and the goalkeeper just kind of screwed up the save, honestly. But Andrew Gutman, early on in the season, he was scoring a lot of goals. He was tied with Mason Toye for a while for the goal-scoring lead, and all of a sudden, he just kind of stopped. I don't know what happened there, but he at left back is going to be very integral to this team, getting up those flanks, connecting with Griffin Dorsey and those attackers up top. It's going to be very crucial for Gutman to kind of get more involved in the offense and still come back on defense and be a good left back.
See, for me, I think the biggest star of this tournament run could be Corey Thomas, because you're looking at an NCAA tournament run that is going to be fueled with a lot of inexperienced guys out there. This team is run through freshmen a lot because of Griffin Dorsey and Mason Toye. So you're going to need an experienced guy to come through and play in that pivotal role. And Corey Thomas has been excellent as of late, scoring that game winner against Penn State. If he can keep it going, stay on that hot streak, he can really carry the Hoosiers.
Now, Indiana has home field advantage throughout until the College Cup if they make it that far. Who is one team in their quadrant of the bracket that will give them the most trouble in getting to that College Cup? Josh?
I'm going to go with Western Michigan. They're the 10 seed right now. I know they're kind of in that bracket with Maryland and Michigan State, so they may not even get out of that kind of quadrant of the bracket. But Western Michigan has some big wins this year against Big Ten teams. They kind of flew under the radar, and they've been in the top kind of 15 almost all season long. I know they play in the MAC, so not a great conference, but I mean they're the 10 seed for a reason. And I think if they get out and beat Michigan State and beat Maryland potentially, I think they could be a dangerous team for the Hoosiers.
I'm going to go with Michigan State just because IU struggled in the last game of the season in East Lansing, and it was for a Big Ten title, and they ended up not pulling it out even in extra time. You know, Michigan State has been really stout all season long. They've been one of the best teams. They've been in the top 15, top 10 pretty much the whole season. They're a really dangerous team, and now I know they fell in the Big Ten tournament to Ohio State in the semifinal, or excuse me, the quarterfinals, but I think that they have a chance to get red hot late on in the postseason. And obviously you got teams like you already mentioned, Maryland in that same bracket as well. They could give IU troubles, but Michigan State is really a team that stands out for me because IU really struggled performance-wise against Michigan State, and they didn't score a goal, but also their defense caused some troubles. You know, Michigan State really got to their defense and down the flanks. They limited Griffin Dorsey all game long, which is one of the only times we've seen that this season. I think Michigan State could be really dangerous.
This might surprise you, but I think Indiana's biggest challenge could come from Maryland.
Yeah.
Because when you're looking at teams that have the ability to score a goal against Indiana, because there's not many, only 4 goals have been scored against Indiana all season, you're looking at superstars. Who's a talented player that can match up with Grant Lillard and get by him? And that's Graham Wild. And he is incredible. Maryland has been fluky as of late. They've struggled towards the end of the season, but you saw how much they challenged Indiana on the road to start this season. That draw in Maryland, I think they can really pull off a potential upset.
Yeah, Indiana drawing Maryland at the beginning of the season 0-0. Dane Sinclair in net for Maryland. Always a tough task to get by.
Yeah.
So quickly before you guys go, will Indiana get their 9th national championship, Eddie? Real quick.
I don't think so.
No?
No, I'm not willing to bet on that.
Josh?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, got that defense, and if the offense comes along, it's going to be tough to stop them. So I guess we'll see. I'm going to say yes, though, going on the record.
We've seen Indiana play their best soccer in the middle of the season. They started kind of to, I don't want to say flame out, but they didn't play up to their expectations and their potential late in the season. They haven't been playing well as of late for their standards. I'm going to say yes, though. It's as hard as I want to say no, just because it's obviously one of the hardest things to do is to make it that far, win so many consecutive games. I think this IU team has potential to do it with their defense, and if they really anchor down on that back line and if goal scorers start to get hot, like Mason Toye, like you already mentioned, Eddie, Corey Thomas, or Griffin Dorsey, if they can get on the score sheet, sky's the limit for this team.
I'm going to go ahead and say yes, why not? Give them that 9th star. So.
Got to get that final goal for the season.
Exactly. Got to love it. So thanks again, guys, for joining us on this edition of Cream v. Crimson.